Welcome back. States are loosening the reins on shelter-in-place orders, and many people are wasting no time in heading out to socialize. However, there are countless others who are still staying home, not because they want to, or because they want to, not because they have to. Let me get that right. Okay, board-certified psychiatrist Carole Lieberman joins us to share some insight into why some people just don't want quarantine to end. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So one of the biggest concerns is that coronavirus isn't under control. What do you have to say about that, Carole?
Yes, that's the number one reason, and it has become heightened now and because of the protests and riots and looting. You know, there is going to be, and it's already begun, an increase in the number of COVID cases because of the riots, because of people not wearing masks, and not really, some of the people are wearing masks, but a lot of them aren't, certainly not being 6 feet apart. And in addition to that, they're catching it and spreading it amongst each other and then taking it home. In addition to that, a really significant problem is that when we are aware that all these things are happening out there, it is stressing us out. And stress weakens the immune system, and that actually makes us more vulnerable to coronavirus. So all of those things, that's the number one reason why some of us really don't want to go out. Another reason, it's kind of even more so now too, is the uncertainty of what this new normal, so to speak, is going to be like. Another reason is that, you know, a lot of us have let ourselves go during these
Yeah, what do you mean by letting ourselves go, Carole?
Well, you know, there are people joking about, but it's so true. The COVID-19, the 19 pounds. Of course, now that the salons are open, we're going to have less problems in terms of roots and so on. But, you know, we haven't kept up with quite the same kinds of keeping ourselves looking as well as we did before.
Right.
We don't want people to see us.
Yeah, you say the quarantine 19. I've heard the quarantine 15. You said the COVID-19 19. But yeah, people joke about that weight. But I can say that I've been snacking a little bit more because I've been home more. And speaking of being home more, a lot of people are working from home. How has that affected the way people are feeling about quarantine?
Yes, a lot of people are realizing that, you know, working from home is very nice. You can take a break when you want. You don't have to have stale coffee or a boss looking over your shoulder. You can still do the work, but, you know, without the pressure of being in that environment. Also, some people are realizing that they really like being with their partner and being with their kids more. Although for some people it's going the opposite way. You know, there are more divorces already being filed, and you know, problems with kids and so on.
Really, you would say there's more divorces being filed? Because I would think that maybe some families that you're spending more time with your loved ones, aren't they maybe experiencing a renewed closeness?
Well, yes, it's one extreme or the other. So some really are, but then some couples are realizing that they've lost. They're not really connected anymore. They've lost, you know, what they fell in love with. And you know, everybody has sort of annoying habits. Well, when you go to work, at least if one person goes to work, you're not seeing these annoying habits 24/7. But if you're all home, you know, and plus the stress of taking care of the kids and making sure they're doing their homework and all of that, there are a lot of extra stresses being home.
Let's talk about that stress, because that's something we can all relate to. We have our normal stress, and maybe working from home or just the entire situation has added another layer of stress. Plus, the kids are getting stressed. So how do these stress levels factor into, you know, not wanting quarantine to end?
Well, yes, we don't want the additional pressures, you know, of going out into the world and trying to put our life together in a sense of, you know, following our ambitions or going to meetings, seeing people we don't necessarily want to see other than, you know, we had a great excuse with Zoom. You don't have to Zoom every day. There's all kinds of pressures going out into the world. And we're realizing that our mental health is not quite what it was before coronavirus came about. You know, a lot of people were feeling anxiety, were feeling depression. Some people are feeling PTSD, a lot of psychological problems. And so it's harder to face the pressures of the world now, you know, our normal pressures that we used to have, when we know that we're not quite with it. We're maybe a little dazed. You know, we joke about Blur's Day, right? We don't know what day of the week it is.
Oh, exactly.
it's hard to go back out there when you're on Blur's Day every day.
So, Carole, what suggestions do you have, in closing? What can people do if they're dealing with, some of these mental health issues, these stresses, they don't want quarantine to end? How do you kind of get past that?
Well, first of all, you need to reach out for mental health treatment. There are lots of therapists doing telehealth, online, on the phone or online. And second of all, you need to do things to help your own mental health. Lots of stress relievers, taking walks, playing new age or classical music, making sure that you get enough exercise, enough sleep. That's another problem that people are having. They're waking up in the middle of the night because of all of these worries and stressors. So you can kind of be your own therapist to a point. Make sure you do things that are fun every day. That's one of the things that I'm doing my patients through therapy through Zoom and telephone. And that's one of the things that it's the hardest to get across to them, that you need to incorporate not just these things that I was mentioning, stress relievers, but things that are fun, actually to purposely add fun to your life every day.
Very good. Carole, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you so much.